Yeah, and I think that's another reason why the fad diets work so well is because they're not really presented as science. They're presented as a story of change. I had this problem, so I picked this thing up, and it really helped me. And you mentioned one that I wanted to bring up with you, and because I had a chance to attend the California Academy and give a talk there.
Oh, yeah.
And so while I was there, I sat in on a bunch of different talks, and I saw one on the ketogenic diet. So I thought, here, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn all about this. And actually, what I stumbled my way into was an hour-long lecture on how ketosis can help prevent some seizures. And
yes.
it blew my mind that everyone in there wasn't thinking
The way you
how to
were.
lose weight, right? They were thinking of it for its original purpose. So talk a little bit about what is the ketogenic diet? Where did it come from, and what do you think about it being an active part of of American diet right now?
Yeah. Basically, the keto diet, as you said, it's putting the body into a state of ketosis, and when the body is in a state of ketosis, it forces it to burn fat to help fuel the body. There's two problems with that.
But the way that it does it is that the people don't have carbohydrates at the ready access.
Yeah.
So
Should've
once
said that
they've
part.
burned off all their glycogen through exercise or just through time,
they don't consume enough.
They don't consume
You know,
enough.
they stay at a carb somewhere in the ballpark of 50 grams max, I think, and it could even be lower than that. And to give you an example of what that looks like, 2 pieces of bread and a piece of fruit is about 45. Okay, so that's whole day.
And for anybody that wants to know about the physiology of it, when you're eating carbohydrates, your body stores that as very quick energy. And so when you're going for a run or something like that, that's where you're getting your energy. Until you get past 35, 40, 50 minutes of hardcore exercise, are you able to get into burning other things other than just the carbs stored in your muscle?
Yeah, the glycogen that we store in the muscle, which is carbohydrates converted to its storage farm, is there to fuel us in between meals. That's the bottom line. Now, you referenced the exercise piece, but it really is there so that, our blood sugar doesn't drop too low. Blood sugar is what keeps us going. When you look at your glucose levels, blood sugar levels, that's the fuel that the body's operating under. And what you have to stop and think is, okay, it fuels the muscle. Biggest muscle in the body. Well, that would be the heart. So it's what keeps the body fueled. The brain cannot store glucose. So the brain needs a constant infusion, which again is why we need to eat on a regular basis.
That's why people get hangry when they
Exactly.
when they're out of the food. They start getting that brain fog and kind of
There's just no glucose
I've never
going,
heard it described
and that's
this
why
way.
they make it referred to as the keto flu, because you get that kind of lethargic, nauseous feeling as that blood sugar is dropping way down here, as opposed to what I always said to the students, you want your blood sugar to kind of do this all day long. Obviously, that's not exactly what it does, but that's what you want. You do not want the roller coaster, because every time you roller coaster, that's where two things happen. One, you get that, let me think. I think I just read this sentence 8 times. Let me think if I can read it again. That kind of
brain fog,
disconnect, right? But you also get that, oh my God, I'm hungry. What is there to eat? I'll eat whatever I can find. And of course, we overeat. So what the principle of the keto diet is deplete the body of that carb by not consuming enough. So now you force it to move into burning fat for fuel. But the problem with that is fat won't go to glucose. And the body wants glucose. So fat goes to a form that creates these ketone bodies. And when you can get into a state of ketosis, measure your ketones in your urine, it's like, oh good, I'm where I need to be. I'm going to burn all this fat and lose all this weight. What's happening though is you're burning muscle, because you will take anything that's in that muscle for fuel before you go to ketones.
Oh.
You also, when you consume that much protein, which many of those diets are very, very high, there's a limit to how much protein at one meal we can metabolize and use. And anything beyond that
What do you think it is?
gone.
40, 45 grams?
We're kind of at I was just at a talk a couple weeks ago, and the speaker actually alluded to that it's 30 to 40, whereas some of the researchers I've heard have said 30 max at a meal.
Oh man, there's a whole lot of whey protein being urinated out of people's systems.
Correct.
Then. Okay.
Which of course goes to the other way. You're losing weight. You're losing a lot of fluid, getting rid of that wasted protein. So the keto diet also does sort of a dry you out, because the high protein Protein is a diuretic. Carbohydrates, of course, carbohydrate, they keep us hydrated.
Oh, God, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay, this is
yeah.
good.
Protein's a diuretic.
Okay, wow.
So the high protein, you're losing not only the waste, because we can't use, if we don't need the amino acids that are in protein, that's really why we eat it, is the amino acids in it. Okay, so protein is made up of all those amino acids, and we need those. If we don't need them, we take the nitrogen off of them, and that's waste. So you're losing all of that, which of course also ties in to when you get that kind of not very nice breath with the keto diet. It's all about the fat burn, the protein waste. It's all about what the body's doing to try to keep you alive when it's not getting the nutrients it needs.
So it would sound to me that you are not a big fan of the keto diet
Very
to lose
good.
weight. Yeah.
No, it's you are going to lose weight, but the first time you put carbohydrates back in, you will gain a pretty good amount of weight because remember I said the word is carbohydrate.
So this is fascinating. Is that why if you eat a big plate of pasta and you haven't been eating pasta, you add far more weight on than I had?
You hold
no
on to
idea.
the fluids. Yep. Yeah, the body wants carbohydrates. The body wants glucose. The body wants to keep you alive. And we can manipulate all we want. And we'll get short-term benefits, which again gets back to that, it bothers me so much that people get these short-term benefits, but then they either achieve their weight or they can't keep it up, and then the weight comes back because the body now gets the fuel it wants. We've had conversation over the years whether, in fact, every time you go on a diet, you change your metabolism. In other words, slow it down. And I don't know that we know the answer still, but we do know that when people go on and off diets over time, they do tend to gain more and have a harder time losing each time they go on a new one. So something's happening metabolically.
The really sad and somewhat terrifying thing I heard on the podcast that I was listening to today was almost no diets that anybody does keeps weight off for more than 2 years, which to me sounds like a prison sentence in that once you've put on weight, you're always going to be heavy. You're always going to eventually yo-yo back. Is that true?
Well, the key there is the use of that word is truly on diets. So in other words, diets don't work. Healthy eating plans do.
Thanks for watching this podcast short. You can find the rest of the interview on my channel. If you like this video, I hope you'll hit the like button and consider subscribing. I release a new interview with an interesting person every Wednesday morning.